At first. Initially. Sometimes, the truth can arise beyond what we initially perceive. The project's objectives go beyond what was initially envisioned. The damage to the ship was far more serious than initially thought. The extent of the problem was much larger than initially anticipated. Idea. Notion. The notion of abuse has wider connotations than the physical. We each have a notion of just what kind of person we'd like to be. The traditional notion of marriage goes back thousands of years. One common Chinese notion is that the elders ought to be respected. Rack up. Accumulate. Eating junk food regularly can cause you to accumulate fat. The ocean currents help accumulate plankton in certain areas. The student hopes to accumulate knowledge through studying. The athlete works hard to accumulate strength and endurance. Polluted. Contaminated. The investigation found that the food was contaminated. The lab analysis showed that the sample was contaminated. Water can be contaminated with harmful bacteria and viruses. The coast has been contaminated by industrial and nuclear waste. Maybe. Probably. The team will probably have a tough opponent in the next game. The company will probably expand its operations in the future. He probably won't agree with our plan, but we can still discuss it. It will probably be crowded at the amusement park on the weekend. Tons of. A number of. The new car company will incorporate a number of major improvements. There are a number of different points of view on this controversial issue. There are a number of lakes in the lowland region of the Amazon Valley. A number of young people maintain that money is a passport to happiness. Link up. Connect. We connect better with people depending on how honest we are. Police have sufficient evidence to connect their suspect to the murder. The canal was built to connect Sheffield with the Humber estuary. The operator will connect you with our customer service department. Put up. Tolerate. It's hard to tolerate loud noises when we're trying to concentrate. It's important to tolerate people who have different backgrounds. The beach has vegetation that can tolerate salt water and sandy soil. They announced that the country would not tolerate foreign aggression. Really? Definitely. He is definitely the most dedicated employee in the company. What you wear should be stylish and clean and must definitely fit well. The position of women, over the years, has definitely changed for the better. The book is definitely useful for both undergraduate and graduate courses. Often. Frequently. Her constant sarcasm frequently hurts the feelings of others. She has written some words that frequently occur together. The author frequently quoted Shakespeare in her writing. We rely frequently on our friends and relatives for emotional support. In the end. Finally. Agreement was finally reached after very lengthy discussions. The action slips from comedy to melodrama and finally to tragedy. Finally, walking is an enjoyable and readily available form of exercise. The food finally arrived at the end of last week and distribution began. Sight. Vision. The night vision of tigers is 6 times better than that of humans. Video cameras with night vision can be activated by movement. She suffered temporary loss of vision after being struck on the head. I've had my eyes tested and the report says that my vision is perfect. Look at. Examine. We need to examine the evidence before making a decision. The poet will examine the words to create a meaningful poem. X-rays are used by doctors to examine the organs inside our bodies. The debate team must roundly examine both sides of the argument. Keep. Retain. Group insurance can be a way to attract and retain employees. It's important to retain your manners when meeting new people. One way to retain funds is to create a budget and stick to it. If you want to retain youthful vigor, you have to exercise regularly. Refer to. Consult. If you consult a solicitor, making a will is a simple procedure. The coach will consult with the team before making a strategy. The pilot will consult with air traffic control before taking off. If you wish for good advice, consult an old man who is experienced. Make out. Discern. You need a long series of data to be able to discern such a trend. We often have to look beneath the surface to discern the truth. Anger rusts intellect so that it cannot discern right from wrong. It is possible to discern a number of different techniques in her work. Remove. Eliminate. Through innovation, we can eliminate any outdated practices. The team needs to eliminate their mistakes to win the game. The new policy aims to eliminate any loopholes in the system. A move towards healthy eating could help eliminate potential diseases. Stand for. Represent. The Olympic flag has 5 rings that represent the continents. The members will elect a new spokesperson to represent them. The Queen appointed a new ambassador to represent the country. Air pollution represents a serious health hazard to the environment. Very big. Considerable. The amount of research required for a thesis is considerable. The number of people affected by unemployment is considerable. The recent earthquake caused considerable damage to the whole. There is considerable public misunderstanding of the purpose of the new law. Point out. Indicate. There is nothing to indicate that the two events are connected. GNP is conventionally used to indicate economic development. The size of his offer indicates that he is eager to buy the house. Fossil records indicate that Africa was the cradle of human evolution. End. Terminate. The lease was signed for perpetuity with no option to terminate. The company had to terminate the product due to safety concerns. The police officer had to terminate the chase for safety reasons. In most occupations, poorly performing employees can be terminated. Go against. Oppose. We're hoping we can get more senators to oppose the legislation. We must oppose the momentum of hate speech and discrimination. Some people oppose the use of nuclear energy due to safety concerns. The organization was founded to oppose injustice and promote equality. Want. Desire. Man is fashionable because of his inherent desire to look good. The company's products are designed to fulfill customer desires. Several people have expressed a desire to see the new president. The desire to be healthy motivated her to adopt a better lifestyle. Deal with. Handle. The packing case was handled with care to avoid any damage. She admitted to herself she didn't know how to handle the problem. Household finances are generally handled by women in many societies. Counseling can teach people to handle negative emotions like fear and anger. Find out. Discover. Scientists around the world are working to discover a cure for AIDS. She was pleasantly surprised to discover that she was no longer afraid. They discovered how to form the image in a thin layer on the surface. The more we study, the more we discover our limitations of knowledge. Free. Liberate. The new government promised to liberate the country from corruption. The book inspired readers to liberate their minds from societal norms. We must unite to liberate the oppressed and create a more just society. The therapy sessions helped her liberate her mind from negative thoughts. Get in touch. Contact. Physical contact between a mother and child is quite significant. The plane lost contact with the control tower shortly after takeoff. Try to establish a physical address and telephone contact number. Avoid close contact with people who are showing possible symptoms. But. However. Most orthodox doctors, however, dismiss this as complete nonsense. This is a cheap and simple process. However, there are dangers. The effectiveness of this class of drugs has, however, led to their misuse. The ant is the most industrious animal, however, it is the most taciturn one. At once. Immediately. He accepted the challenge and began to prepare immediately. Firefighters took action immediately to stop the blaze from spreading. The actual cause of the problem was not immediately apparent. It was immediately apparent that something unpleasant had occurred. Lack. Deficiency. The company's deficiency in funding caused them to go bankrupt. The team's deficiency in teamwork caused them to fail the project. Symptoms of anemia include weakness, fatigue, and iron deficiency. Zinc deficiency can cause poor concentration and memory problems. Speed up. Accelerate. The horse began to accelerate as it approached the finish line. The wind began to accelerate, causing the trees to sway violently. Exposure to sunlight can accelerate melanin production in the skin. He believes that cutting taxes can help to accelerate economic growth. Check. Verify. These numbers are surprisingly high and they'll have to be verified. Until more evidence is found, the police cannot verify the killer's motive. They now take extra steps to verify the creditworthiness of customers. The company was unable to produce any statistics to verify their claims. Put off. Postpone. They disputed the visa, so they had to postpone their trip. The couple acquiescently decided to postpone their wedding. Due to technical difficulties, we need to postpone a meeting. Because of bad weather, we have to postpone our cricket match. Give out. Distribute. We proudly distribute our handmade crafts to local boutiques. Make sure to distribute the workload evenly throughout the team. The company will distribute the workload among its employees. The party's aim is to distribute power more evenly among the people. Use. Utilize. It is important to utilize your time wisely and prioritize your tasks. Farmers can utilize husbandry solutions to improve crop yields. Researchers utilize nitrogen isotopes to study ecological processes. The Romans were the first to utilize concrete as a building material. Lack. Deficiency. Growth hormone deficiency can be caused by genetic mutations. The computer was slow due to being in a deficiency of memory. Severe iron deficiency can cause a developmental delay in children. Zinc deficiency can cause poor concentration and memory problems. Go on. Continue. If you continue spending money in this way, you may go to the dogs. They are given sufficient support to continue their studies smoothly. It will continue only as long as the next generations keep them alive. The furnace will continue to burn as long as the fuel is added to the burner. Use. Consume. The economy values them primarily for their ability to consume. It's important to consume vitamin D for strong bones and teeth. Biologically, humans are designed to consume a variety of foods. Online streaming services have changed the way we consume media. Tired. Exhausted. The challenging project left him mentally and physically exhausted. The axemen were exhausted after a long day of chopping wood. The terrorists continued to fire until their ammunition was exhausted. People who don't work are more exhausted than people who do. Need. Require. Bringing up children often requires you to put their needs first. The rules require that you bring only one guest to the dinner. Such policies would require significant cooperation between nations. If you require further information, you should consult the registrar. Say no. Reject. They have come to reject the traditional notion of womanhood. The executive committee voted unanimously to reject the proposals. Consumers have the right to reject faulty goods and demand a refund. Now it seems the council has comprehensively rejected that approach. Pick up. Collect. The company hasn't yet tried to collect the outstanding balance. They hope to collect over 10,000 signatures on the new policy. Like a telescope, the machine has a curved mirror to collect the sunlight. The survey didn't collect any information about the temporary problems. Clear. Transparent. Simplifying policy can help make government more transparent. The tax system is designed to be transparent and accountable. The negotiation was conducted in a transparent and open manner. A layer of transparent material is sandwiched between the glasses. Death. Demise. The demise of the newspaper industry has been ongoing for years. Her mother's demise occurred unexpectedly in an airplane accident. The demise of the old technology paved the way for new innovations. The sudden demise of the company left many employees without jobs. Start. Commence. The meeting will not commence until all members are present. It's time to commence into the new semester with a fresh start. The art exhibit will commence with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Such a process of education must inevitably commence with the young. Go through. Examine. The archaeologist uses a microscope to examine spider anatomy. Lexicologists examine the semantic changes that occur in words. A government committee will examine the issue of human cloning. Customers have only a limited amount of time to examine the goods. Go ahead. Proceed. If you agree below, we can proceed with the payment process. The team decided to proceed with the plan despite the risks. We cannot proceed without the necessary supporting documents. The problems have been detected, and the work can now proceed. Use. Consume. The economy values them primarily for their ability to consume. It's important to consume vitamin D for strong bones and teeth. Biologically, humans are designed to consume a variety of foods. Online streaming services have changed the way we consume media. Go away. Depart. The conductor was standing in front of the train ready to depart. The team will depart from the training camp ready for the season. It's time to depart from our old beliefs and be open to new ideas. I have to depart from my comfort zone and take on new challenges. Keep. Preserve. The historical building was renovated to preserve its history. The organization's mission is to preserve endangered species. We should preserve our planet by recycling and reducing waste. These policies are intended to help preserve our natural environment. Look up to. Respect. We can gain respect at home, at work, and in society by being polite. Democracy gives the highest respect and importance to the public. These qualities earn your respect and you are seen as a natural leader. Our country has the utmost respect for his sports accomplishments. Think of. Conceive. Many artists conceive through their emotions and experiences. It's important to conceive a good plan before starting a big project. She was able to conceive with a belief of positivity and hope. Conceive about the role of time management in academic success. Look for. Seek. The traveler will seek new experiences in foreign lands. They played hide and seek for hours until it got dark outside. The students eagerly seek knowledge in their chosen field. We eagerly seek innovative solutions to complex problems. Let. Allow. The museum does not allow photography in certain exhibits. The company policy does not allow smoking on the premises. The practice is legal, although suppliers are not allowed to advertise. The system allows you to transfer data easily from one site to another. Expect. Anticipate. We anticipate a beautiful sunset beneath the mountains. A noble speaker is able to anticipate an audience's needs. We need to stay ahead of the game and anticipate changes. The employees anticipate a well-deserved promotion. Set up. Establish. The surveyor will establish borders for the property lines. A contract can be used to establish a consulting agreement. The two countries agreed to establish full diplomatic relations. The church needs to establish a policy on donation management. Lucky. Fortunate. If you have 5 friends, you are fortunate to have a close circle. We were fortunate to have good weather for our outdoor event. He was fortunate enough to have inherited a large sum of money. We should try to help others who are less fortunate than ourselves. Say sorry. Apologize. He's quick to apologize, but his regret sometimes lacks sincerity. We apologize for any inconvenience caused during the repairs. He is quick to apologize, but his regret sometimes lacks sincerity. She apologizes for the mistake and promises that it won't happen again. Look like. Resemble. He resembles his father in appearance and in temperament. The roof of the museum was designed to resemble a spaceship. The earthwork was carefully shaped to resemble a giant animal. The two paintings resemble each other in style and color scheme. Trial. Experimental. Some asylums were known for their experimental treatments. The scientist rebuts the theory with new experimental data. The experimental protocol was approved by the ethics committee. The experimental approach taken was criticized by some experts. Stop. Cease. The war will only cease when both sides agree to a peace treaty. It's important to cease distractions when studying for exams. The government must take action to cease the spread of the virus. This is an intolerable situation that must cease as a matter of urgency. Good looking. Attractive. One of the most attractive features of the plan is its low cost. Manipulating your appearance won't make you more attractive. The product was packaged in an attractive and eye-catching way. He surrounds himself with attractive, intelligent, or well-known people. Enough. Sufficient. She had a small private income that was sufficient for her needs. The amount of sleep you have is not sufficient for your health. The amount of effort we put in was sufficient to win the game. The team has sufficient knowledge to tackle emerging problems. Lively. Energetic. He was praised for his extremely energetic and effective leadership. We look for candidates who are computer literate and energetic. The music was energetic and kept the partiers dancing all night long. This revolutionary expansion required energetic nation-building policies. Imagine. Envisage. I didn't envisage this would be a problem, but I was wrong. Envisage beneath the surface of a problem to find a solution. We should envisage happiness alongside personal fulfillment. Nobody can envisage the catastrophic consequences of nuclear war. Idea. Notion. The artist's work sought to desacralize the notion of beauty. Some people romanticize the notion of living in a small town. We are disbelieving of the notion that money can buy happiness. The conventional notion of marriage goes back thousands of years. Lucky. Fortunate. He was fortunate to receive a scholarship to study abroad. Let's be loving towards those who are less fortunate than us. It's always good to be fortunate to have a supportive family. The old lady is fortunate enough to have a very good health condition. Look into. Investigate. Investigate for online courses to supplement your education. The Senate has the power to investigate government agencies. The legislative branch can investigate corporate wrongdoing. A committee was set up to investigate allegations of discrimination. A lot of. Many. There seem to be so many rules and regulations these days. Many elderly people have never touched a computer in their lives. Many politicians have suffered at the hands of the popular press. In many of these neighborhoods, a lot of people don't have telephones. All right. Acceptable. It was an acceptable performance, although not an outstanding one. The soil contains 30 times the acceptable level of radioactivity. Nowadays, it's acceptable for women to be ambitious. But it wasn't then. Acceptable vitamin levels meant that the patient's health was improving. Show. Demonstrate. The doctor will demonstrate how to properly use an inhaler. Thousands of people gathered to demonstrate against the new law. The trainer used a PowerPoint to demonstrate the new software. The study also demonstrated a direct link between obesity and mortality. Give up. Quit. After you quit smoking, your body undergoes certain changes. She will quit her present job if it does not help to fulfill her ambition. Winners are not those who never fail, but those who never quit. Study suggests those who quit before 40 showed less memory decline. Put off. Postpone. The event has been postponed indefinitely due to a lack of interest. In this circumstance, we had no choice but to postpone the project. Let's postpone making a decision until we have more factual information. The ferry service has been postponed for the day because of bad weather. Really big. Considerable. The amount of time we spend on our phones is considerable. The project required considerable teamwork and collaboration. The amount of damage caused by the accident was considerable. The number of people affected by climate refugees is considerable. Go down. Decrease. We've got stable labor, decreasing interest rates, and low oil prices. There was a slight decrease in his weight after a week of dieting. Half the companies in the survey reported a decrease in sales. Sales have now peaked and we expect them to decrease in future. Makeup. Fabricate. The journalist was conniving in a plot to fabricate news stories. I had to fabricate my presentation to make it more engaging. The company was able to fabricate a prototype of their new product. They waste a lot of time interviewing people with fabricated credentials. Leave out. Omit. In some cases, it might even be best to omit this story entirely. Please don't omit any details, no matter how trivial they may seem. I'd be upset if my name were omitted from the list of contributors. In particular, be very careful not to omit the final semicolon. Smart. Intelligent. The newly hired employees are not only intelligent but also good-looking. There is no evidence that more intelligent animals have more offspring. He surrounds himself with attractive, intelligent, or well-known people. The intelligent programmer developed a sophisticated software technology. Tell. Inform. We regret to inform you that your resubmission has been denied. The Student Government Association can inform you of campus events. The Study Abroad Office will inform you of the application process. You must inform your bank immediately if your credit cards are lost or stolen. Anyway. Nevertheless. Many marriages fail. Nevertheless, people continue to get married. He found the test difficult but nevertheless made a good attempt at it. The cop told them to clear out, nevertheless they seemed not to hear. I knew a lot about the subject already, but her talk was exciting nevertheless. Get. Receive. If convicted, he would receive a sentence of life imprisonment. It is encouraging that more people are now receiving services. It says that patients expected less but in some ways received more. A satellite receives the signals and then sends them back to Earth. Have to. Must. The doctor must not allow the patient to be put at risk. The government must take strong measures to tackle the housing crisis. You mustn't allow enough time for the mind to think of an alternative. There must be a minimum of 2 members of the company at the meeting. Lively. Energetic. She was energetic and dynamic and would get things done easily. He was praised for his extremely energetic and effective leadership. The music was energetic and kept the partiers dancing all night long. The country needs an active and energetic president, especially now. Chance. Opportunity. The job interview is a fantastic opportunity to showcase your skills. The company's expansion creates job opportunities in the community. Education gives us the opportunity to put our potential to optimum use. They give us an opportunity to study different people and their cultures. Let. Allow. We must not allow our pleasure to be mitigated by anything harmful. The authority will not hinder anything useful nor allow anything harmful. Positive thinking overwhelms stress and it will allow you to get rid of stress. The purpose of Facebook is to allow people to build a social community. Leave out. Omit. Please don't omit any details, no matter how trivial they may seem. Any list of success stories is bound to omit some favorite voice. Jason omits his own misdeeds when he reports his rival's behavior. Mistakenly, your name was omitted from our guest list for the party. Smart. Intelligent. She has arrived at a very intelligent opinion on the gender issue. An intelligent person would not have needed to ask that question. There have been some intelligent arguments made against the war. All your arguments presuppose that he's a rational, intelligent man. Clear. Transparent. Communication can be improved by being honest and transparent. The glass was converted by radiation to make it more transparent. The government is simplifying policy to make it more transparent. Now, people want to establish a transparent parliamentary democracy. Breakdown. Collapse. The collapse of the company had repercussions for the whole industry. The collapse of communism changed East-West relations forever. This drastic action brought the country to the verge of economic collapse. The collapse of the economy had repercussions for the whole nation. Big. Enormous. She was paid an enormous amount of money to do the job. The enormous dinosaur skeleton was on display at the museum. The enormous statue of a famous leader stood in the town square. Germany produced enormous quantities of petroleum and steel. Put up with. Tolerate. It's important to tolerate others' strengths and weaknesses. We should learn to tolerate our own imperfections and flaws. It's difficult to tolerate someone who is always complaining. We must learn to tolerate discomfort in order to grow and learn. Hopeless. Futile. Trying to please everyone all the time is a futile endeavor. The efforts wasted beyond reason are futile and unproductive. Burying the evidence was a futile attempt to cover up the crime. The community's people made a futile attempt to control the flooding. Mainly. Principally. The book is principally focused on the theme of love and loss. The new policy is principally aimed at reducing carbon emissions. The advertising campaign is aimed principally at children and women. The rejection of the treaty was principally linked to voter apathy. Free. Liberate. The organization's mission is to liberate animals from cruelty. It is our duty to liberate the oppressed and fight for their rights. The protagonist risked their life to liberate the enslaved villagers. The prisoner was finally able to liberate himself from his chains. Go against. Oppose. I oppose stealing and always respect other people's property. The environmentalists oppose the construction of a new factory. It's important to oppose overeating and maintain a healthy diet. This policy shows how to oppose bad decisions about city planning. Chance. Opportunity. This approach has created lots of work and opportunities for students. When an opportunity is neglected, it may never come back to you. Football in the end is a great opportunity to meet different cultures. There is a seminar on international business opportunities this evening. Set out. Display. The display of fireworks on New Year's Eve is a fine spectacle. The crowd enjoyed a diving display before the swimming races. She put on a histrionic display of grief at her ex-husband's funeral. Like so many others, she was moved and impressed by the display. Point out. Indicate. Physical health is sometimes indicative of one's mental state. Surveys indicate an improvement in public health care sectors. A smile in Indonesian culture does not always indicate happiness. Record profits in the retail market indicate a boom in the economy. Take out. Remove. Try using lemon juice to remove tobacco stains from your fingers. The simplest answer is just to remove yourself from the situation. He needs emergency surgery to remove the blood clot from his brain. The robot was able to remove its own head and fix it whenever needed. Later. Subsequently. She burned her hand and subsequently had to apply ointment. The book was published and subsequently became a bestseller. They argued and subsequently decided to end their relationship. The data can subsequently be loaded on a computer for processing. Fight. Combat. The two fighters engaged in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The governments are taking steps to combat racism in schools. The swimmer had to combat the strong currents in the ocean. If we combat unfairness, we can promote hope and optimism. Empty. Vacant. The vacant office park was redeveloped into a technology campus. He is going to make a bid for the vacant position in the company. The landlord struggled to find a new tenant for the vacant apartment. 2 jobs are vacant at the courthouse and need to be filled immediately. See. Observe. The practice is now illegal, but it is still observed in many rural areas. Ornithologists observe every aspect of a bird, including their behaviors. The satellite will observe objects that are particularly interesting. Ancient Chinese astronomers first observed sunspots 2,000 years ago. Whole. Entire. There is an entire table filled with fresh desserts in the kitchen. This statement must be understood in the context of the entire text. The earthquake plunged entire towns over the edge of the cliffs. He remarked that from era to era, one discovers the entire truth. Death. Demise. The sudden demise of the athlete was a great loss to the sport. The person's demise was directly linked to acute cocaine toxicity. Online newspapers are causing the demise of the traditional newspaper. There are several theories about what caused the demise of the dinosaurs. Hopeless. Futile. All rescue attempts were futile during the terrible hurricane. They realized it was futile and decided to abandon the struggle. It is completely futile trying to reason with him, he just will not listen. It would be a futile and dangerous act to try and hamstring a tiger. Mainly. Principally. He had married her principally for the sake of her father's property. No new power stations have been built, principally because of the cost. The company's success is principally due to its innovative products. The restaurant's menu is principally composed of traditional Italian dishes. Let. Permit. Machine-readable passports will permit precise identity checking. Do not permit yourself into a destructive reaction to your anger. The security system will not permit you to enter without a password. Employees are permitted to use the golf course during their free hours. Tough. Challenging. Some experts performed the most challenging task without a mistake. Building a home from scratch can be both exciting and challenging. He resigned from the company in order to take a more challenging job. The latest mission to Saturn has been a challenging engineering endeavor. Throw away. Discard. The nursery had to discard several plants due to severe leaf blight. It's important to tidy up your wallet and discard old receipts. Remember to discard any products that have passed their sell-by date. People who discard their litter in the streets should have to pay heavy fines.